Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Firstly, thank you for tuning in with Recro. This is Ankita. I'm working as a senior software engineer at Swiggy, and I'm a part of Recro, which is a developer focused organization where we are trying every day to connect talented developers with fast growing startups like Dunzo, Swiggy, CureFit, Uran, and a lot more similar startups. So today we are here with a much awaited topic, React hooks. So to give us a glance of it and tell us how they work, what they are, we have Abhishek Sachdeva with us, who is an experienced software engineer currently working as a freelancer. His 4.5 years of professional journey has spanned over organizations like Tila, CoWrks, Mindtree for developing web and mobile apps using JavaScript. So, before I hand over to Abhishek to start the session, I would like to give you guys a quick walkthrough of the platform so that you can use it during the session. So, on the right hand side, you can see the sessions list. So, today's session is divided into three parts. So, first would be the welcome session, which is happening right now. Another would be the presentation and the demo, and in the end we'll be taking all the questionnaires. And below that you can see the list of attendees who are currently attending this session, and below that we have a chat section so you guys can chat with each other, and if you have any message for us also we can see that and reply to you accordingly. And next, we have the questionnaire section. So all the questions that you have, you will have to write it down in the question section because we won't entertain any questions written in the chat part. And say if there's a question that you want us to answer first, I mean, want Abhishek to answer first, you can upvote that question because we'll be taking the questions with more upvotes first. One more thing, if in chat there is any kind of abusive message, you can report it. Next, below in the bottom part, in the center, you can see the reaction session, reaction session, which is just an emoji. It includes multiple reactions like or like you can like or smileys. Like if you like anything, you can give thumbs up. And there is one more thing that we have, which is raise hand. You can see an icon of raise hand just next to that. So the purpose of this is that, say, we are in the presentation session, and there is something that Abhishek says that you didn't hear, or you want a clarity on it. So you can raise your hand, and then I can allow you to speak. And after I allow you, you can also switch on your video. So that is completely optional. So that was about the platform. Now, we will also be sharing the links for our social handles. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter to get updates for our upcoming sessions. Also, we will also provide you Abhishek's and my profile link so that if you want to connect with us directly, you can do there. And then, moreover, we will share our WhatsApp community link as well so that you can join us there too and let us know what the topics you would want us to have a session on. And in the end, I'll also be sharing the feedback link so that it be just a small feedback form that you can fill up to let us know, to give us a constructive feedback for this session. So be it a negative feedback or a positive feedback, everything is welcomed. So now I'd like to hand it over to Abhishek.
So yeah, my name is Sachdeva, and I have like 5 years of 4.5 years of experience working for like web and mobile apps as an using JavaScript, and uh, uh, yeah, and I'm currently working as freelancer. So today's session will be on Reacthooks. So the session will go like this. What are the hooks like? Why they introduced it? What are the motivation like when previously React hooks were not there? Like how you're using it. Those kind of comparison with the class component and this function with React hooks will be there. And how you can like think of custom hooks as reusing the state logics and all in the application. So that will be included in session. Yeah. And uh, so I'll be just
Uh, Abhishek, we already have a raise hand request from Kush Kumar. So, Kush, I'd hand over the mic to you. Uh, Abhishek, can we answer? Can we have him speak and then start the presentation?
yeah.
Okay.
So he's like raising hand. Okay.
Yes, yes. Hi, Kush.
So hi Abhishek.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically my question would be, I think you will be answering that question. So why hooks has come and what are the advantages hooks are providing us, and
Yeah.
what makes Facebook to introduce hooks. So okay.
Yeah. That will be in my introduction section.
Okay.
That first.
That's fine. That's fine. This was my means I wanted to know whether these things you are taking care of or not.
Yeah. That I'm taking care. That will be
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Kush. Yeah, please continue, Abhishek.
Sure. So yeah. So are you just okay? So React hooks at a glance. So I'll start with the, like as I told, introduction. Then what are the hooks available in React? And then like we know, like previously we used to make class or function component in React, and like how React hooks is going to be useful in terms of, okay, a few limitations were there like with the class component. So how you can leverage function component with React hooks and the same thing can be achieved. And then I'll talk about the custom hooks, which is just more the convention there. Yeah. So introduction. So what hooks let you do that? So like I told you, so class component and function component were there. So function component, we can't put state and all previously, but hooks let you use a state and other React features without writing any class. So previously it was always something what we make like a component, function component of that class component based on our like, okay, what our use case says. But now need not to worry about those things, because near about every of the thing you can do with the function component as well after hooks. So yeah, as one question was here, so motivation, what is the like motivation? So it's like very simple. So first is like it's very hard to reuse stateful logic between class components. So when I say class component, so whenever I need to take something out, I need to give that prop down pass and then handle change, that those kind of thing. And if it is getting bigger, then in like composing into different components was little difficult. But this hooks will let you use those very simply. And then complex components become hard to understand. So if I say like how component class component were there, so it used to be based on that component lifecycle, mounting, then updating, then unmounting, those kind of thing. But if you work with the hooks, it will be more into terms of, okay, what it is doing in terms of better logic side. So that I'll show you after that. And classes confuse both people and machine. How? So there one case I told you like what to use, function component or class component, because previously there were few things were not possible in function component. So now no need to confuse with that. And another thing, what React React community itself was why they introduced it, because few things other libraries are doing, like in Angular there's ahead of time compilation and all those things. So to implement those kind of thing, or like to more of think of a React future, they introduced these hooks. And few problem they were getting like when they were bundling with the pre-pack and all, and class components are little flaky in terms of what reloading and all. So this is mostly the motivation, like not to confuse, just go with the function component everywhere if you are using uh, new React app. And if it is already there, class component, and it's getting so messed up in the code, you can think of a hook to change that particular class into function component and use hooks. So yeah, this is the motivation. Also, yeah, anybody like has question around it, uh, why still we are using, and what difference are there in range head? Yeah.
Abhishek, could you please present the full screen? Present the slides in the full screen mode, please.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
So let's see like what are the hooks available in React. So basic hooks, very basic hooks. If I say class component, previously in constructor we used to call this dot state kind of thing. So in same way, like use state can be used in that place. Sorry. Yeah. And context was already there, and but context way of integrating in class component was little difficult or like little messed up. So in use context, it will be very easy. And use effect will more of come. Think it as a like component has been rendered. Component is about to first time render, then updating. Think everything of as an effect to that when we are mounting, when we are unmounting, when we are updating the component. And advanced hooks, they also gave advanced hooks like use reducer. Reducer is more of a like managing complex data management. If you have heard Redux or used Redux, so those kind of feature like React itself is giving now. And then use ref is to just get the containers reference and like its properties. Every of the property we can play around those. And use debug value will be more of development mode feature, like if you want to see something as a labeled thing or like in that component developer console. And these are very less used hooks, like use imperative value and use callback, use memo, or use layout effect. So yeah, anyway, like I'll tell you like little bit about these. Use imperative value is mostly used with the forward ref, like when we used to give reference to the child component and all those kind of things. We can memo is more of optimization and all those things, and that will not be much needed, I guess. And yeah, use layout effect is also similar to use effect. So, but it goes synchronously, and it can be like sometimes broken screen and all those kind of effect. If you don't need it, then don't use. They also don't recommend it. So yeah, these are the hooks available in React. And let's see, as I told, like class component versus hooks. So I told like whenever we think of a class component, we think of a like component lifecycle. And irrespective of anything, we need to write our code in those component lifecycle. It is not based on that okay, what kind of one kind of effect or those kind of thing. But hook let you split component into smaller function based on what pieces are related rather than component lifecycle. So yeah, so it is just class component hook I'm just comparing, and these are like four process, I guess, in class gives us. So one is mounting, and then updating, then unmounting, and it can be error handling, which is like new thing and somebody can implement. Yeah. So, but mostly used function if you see in mounting is component did mount, and while updating is component did update, and while unmounting its component will unmount. So these all three features can be clubbed into use effect in hooks. And render was one function. So render like function is itself is a render thing, and constructor you need not to create because it was usually for the use state and all, like this dot state initial state, so that we can create with the use state. And few things which you can do with the class component and all was that like get snapshot before update, and these two things, yeah, these are still not available. And this get derived state from props, it was like alternate to component will receive props, and it is not like advised to use those things right now. Like if you still want to use, you can think of, yeah. And but it is not in the part of this functional component. So yeah, next I'll just demo you uh, next I'll just demo you like how class component and we can think of to changing it and how we can relate it to. So this is a very basic app. This is one class implementation. So what it is doing, I'll just tell you. So on this change handler, I'm just keeping it to with title in the screen, that page title. And same way, yeah. So this is something, and this is a dynamic like width of that particular viewport I'm just taking in a width. It will change, and this is use of context in class. Like from context, if I'm getting light, then its background color I just kept it gray, and like if it is dark, it's black. So I'll show you code. Yeah. So in app.js, so you can see that React. Yeah, you can see that class implementation. So I'll just give you a walkthrough like how it was written. Yeah. So this first name and last name, I'm just keeping it as okay. First in constructor only I'm giving it. So that's why they have already pre-filled, and screen width, I'm setting it to window.inner width. And then what we used to do, like changing this name and keeping it in the title, or changing the title continuously. So first time when they are doing component did mount, this is how it is getting set from this line. And when anytime component is getting update, this line is going to work. And for screen width, internal width, this is simple object, window object, inner width, and I'm attaching it when component did mount just to handle resize. And whenever it is going unmount, I'm just removing that event listener. So these are the handlers written over here just to change few things. So that's the standard way, like from changing any state for a like element, and this is handler. So whenever somebody start typing on change of that, so it will just set the state of that, and it will render. So on handle last name change, these things are getting changed, this dot state dot first name and last name. So that's why it is getting updated in title. So this way, like we deal with the class component, handle resize, same way like screen width is getting set. And anyway on, yeah. So these are the things. So how to achieve this, if I want to say like I want to achieve the same thing using functional component directly. So I'll just copy for simplicity, and I'll just start converting it. Okay, no need of converting. Yeah. So first thing, wait, I'll just open side by side. So this is first thing, like it is just a simply I'm returning function. So what I have in this return, it I'll just copy for the same. And now, yeah, but using context is not the way in this, so I just commented. And yeah, so this function has like state dot first name. So I need to use state now. So I can directly, there's a like hook called use state. So that way we can use state as like suppose first name, and initial state I was setting it up to a pre-default like Abhishek for now. First name is. Same way last name I'm setting it up, and in same way screen width, let's just take it.
Abhishek, can you zoom in or switch to full screen mode?
I'm on full screen mode in my VS Code actually. So
okay. So please zoom in.
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, there it was like screen width. Set screen width. So yeah, we just maintain these three state, whatever. So this part is done, and then we have few handlers, like how to change those and all. I'll just copy for these three, and like how to use handlers and function component. I'll just show you. So these three handlers still we needed. But now no need of this because it's a functional component we can directly. And so now state I want to use. So now it's directly accessible. No need of like this dot state and all. So I'll just remove this dot state from everywhere and this functional component. Yeah. And then these two changes, handle, last name change, and yeah. So handle the I will just do function simply. So instead of this dot set state, what we'll do for handle resize, we are setting it up screen width. So what use state gives us is like its current state and a handler to change its state value. So we'll use this method. Yeah. And whatever window dot the width is. Yeah. Okay. And in same way, like I'll use for its set last name. And e.target.value, which is coming from their like event of that input. And yeah, handle first name. So yeah, it's giving me right now error because I haven't. I'll just use it. Give me error. Yeah, looks good. So handle reset and now handle first name change. So we'll just use set first name. I just want to normal functions. Yeah, this is done two parts, but still handle resize. We are not reusing it. And previously we were just attaching it while mounting. Just after like component did mount, we are attaching it and we are removing it. So now if you see the component lifecycle here, on mounting we are doing two different kind of logic. So one logic is about to set it, document title, and another is about the attaching the event listener. So I guess this component has only two kind of logic, which I can say like setting up the title and attaching to the listener. So now I can think of that not as a component lifecycle, as a two effects which is happening to this functional component. So its basic syntax is like, I'll just get you around of this use effect. So this is the complete syntax for use effect. So what it is doing, like I'll just show you. So component did mount. So component did mount is something, anything which is happening in component did mount, we'll write it here at this place. Component did mount, and this is for the like changing, like it consider, okay, if it is getting changed something, then it will only run that effect, and that return is component will unmount. So yeah, so let me give this. So first I'll just attach the event listener in this window dot yeah. So I just this dot handle, I can move this function to this in effect because it is not getting used anywhere other than this. So I'll just remove this. Yeah. And while unmounting, what I need to do, I need to remove it. So this is the thing. And another effect for this is, so but to set it up like document.title, we are not relying on any of that standard like changing thing for this as well. So we'll remove that array, and we are doing nothing with the document title on component will unmount. So I'll remove this as well. And I'll be just simply setting document.title. Dot last. Yeah. So let's see what I guess near about everything there. Let's see if it is running. So yeah, we missed this number. I'll just show you after that. So same way it is working, and let's see if it is also working. Yeah, it is taking care of that directly. So yeah, this is so if you see, like, compare these codes side by side. So these two are like just two approach to write a same kind of thing. So hooks are nothing but new. It's just like a new approach. Okay, how you can think of your component. Previously, every time we have to think it of a life cycle, when component did mount, when component did update. But those all things will be taken care by simple use effect. Component did mount, and component will unmount, and component did update. So yeah, now to how to use context. So previously we were using it like context.consumer, and it was giving like one more wrapper around our objects. So now with hooks, this wrapper thing is also getting resolved. This is very like small app, so we might not be feel like. So I'll show you what is wrapper kind of thing. So this is something context.consumer. This is like wrapper around our button. So if it is really in a big app, it will be a problem like, okay, so much wrapper around an object. So hooks resolve this problem as well. So how to use that context? I'll show you like where my context, what it is giving. So right now it is in app.js and how we are using. So wait, I will just remove. Yeah, so context.provider. I'm using one context simply, like theme context, very basic. I just created one context, and I just thought of like giving two value through that context. Yeah, context.provider. So I'm using it as simply theme and toggle theme. Two values I'm giving. So currently value is light. So whenever I start that, so it is giving light at the first place. And toggle theme is function registered over there. So what toggle theme is doing? If theme is simply light, I'm setting it to dark. And if it is like just toggling the theme, set theme using this same way like used it, I demonstrated. And yeah, so how to use context in that functional component. So it comes with like use context as a hook. Use context. So what context I need to give, I'll just import it some way. I'll just imported context. I'll just pass this. And like previously, how in class component context used to be used. So we have to give provider at like app level, or like from where we just want to be that context available to every child component. And then every child component used to be having that context.consumer context.consumer kind of thing. So context.consumer thing will be resolved from this, and directly they can use it as a hook. No need of writing any wrapper kind of thing. So I'll just put it and I'll show you like how to use it. So I'll just write a simple button. Just keep this out. No need of that. And theme and toggle theme. So context I showed you like it is an object over there. Context. Yeah, I showed you what it is providing. So whenever I declare that use context, so it provide me this, whatever I'm registering with this object value. So I can access theme and toggle theme in this. So let me check context. Context of theme. I'll just check what. Or I can directly say destructuring here. Theme and toggle theme. Working. So yeah, no need of light. It's a simple toggle theme. So let's see if it is working. No. Just giving something unresolved error. Yeah, started working. So see, it is taking care of both places because both are coming from there. So yeah, this is something like how we can think of in terms of React hooks and taking all the things leverage what we can do with previously with class in a function by using hook. So yeah, any question here? Or like I need to explain in between or if somebody not heard or didn't get. Yeah, no question I guess. So yeah, I'll just give you next set of things. So now
Abhishek,
like
sorry to cut you there, Abhishek. We have to.
okay, we have two idea of lost connection. Okay, that's great. Okay.
The mic to Manohar Kumar.
Yeah, I didn't heard you, Ankita. Like we have.
Yeah, so I have handed over the mic to Manohar. So Manohar, hi.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hi, Abhishek, this is Manohar here.
yeah,
So my question is, you are using two use effect in the code. So can we
yeah.
serve that things in one use effect?
So I did so their recommendation or standard practice is why we are using hooks just to separate the concern of our logic. So every update or every logic kind of update will go to one use effect. Don't mix those. So that suppose like I'll just say you like we can take it out it anywhere. Any functional component can use it, and we can use this logic across our application. So it will be better if you keep it in one use effect, and it is recommended as well. Yeah, does it answer my question?
Yeah, Abhishek, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, any other question here?
Okay, so next we have Sumit Vajpayee.
Yeah.
Just a second, it's taking time
Yeah.
for the mic to be provided to Sumit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Here,
Sumit.
hey Sumit.
Yeah, hi Jack.
Here,
Yeah, so just wanted to know, can we use async and await in use effect?
async and await in use effect. So use effect is, I guess, so you want to use something like async here in this function. This way?
Yeah, so maybe we can have a function marked with async, then make an HTTP request, get back the data, and we can use await with that. Is it possible with use effect, or is there any race
Already
condition with it?
asynchronously they are updating this with the use effect. So you'll not be needing. And yeah, if you want to use that exactly async await form, I guess you can use it here.
Will there be any race condition with async and
What?
await? Will there be
Uh,
any race condition?
in async and await, so yeah, I'm not sure. It will be like a very specific case if you can show me, okay, what exactly, yeah, you
Let's
want
say
to.
like you're updating the screen width here in a synchronous manner, right? But let's say if we want to make an HTTP request and get back the data, and
Hmm.
want to execute something only when that data comes in. So is that what use effect also supports?
Yeah, so you want to use it something like this. So I guess if I get you correct, so you are calling something and it is a synchronous call, and then you want to use it X as a response, whatever coming after that.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, it support that kind of syntax, like supports that.
Okay,
And,
fine. Thanks for that.
yeah,
Thank you, Sumit. So, Abhishek, I guess we can continue now.
okay. So yeah, so we have like seen. I'll just go back to like this slide and let me check. Okay, what I have covered. So use state I showed you, like it is about to use a state, and use context I showed, and use effect. And then we have something use reducer as well, like which is very useful. I find that very useful when I have to manage little complex data, and by like to maintain that complete flux kind of flow, okay, single source of truth kind of thing. So how to use this use reducer? I just put extra thing here. So use reducer. So what? So use reducer syntax is there. So reducer takes like one reducer. Reducer is the like function with the like state and action if you have already used reduce. And initial state is like whenever the initial state, then object. And in it is like third argument if you want to do it lazily download. But I'll just show you without that. And like it can go as an init function and then initial state will be returned from there. So, so I'll just show you const initial state. Let's define only for now simple two things. So not two things, even single thing, count. Suppose if I want to use count as like complete in that reducer kind of fashion. So I just take state and action, and switch and as default case. So now just like that taking alert action. So I want two use cases that simply with the like every time like we see increase and decrease just count. You so how I can do that. So normally the like this is just a syntax thing. We need to just return the whole state with one more new thing, which is like I'll just update this. If suppose like we have multiple things over here, like count one, count two, count three, that kind of thing, then like return just changing one particular object or two particular object, and this squared thing will take like previous state only. Like this. To count, I'll just say action.payload. So increase, and I'll just put my second case that is decrease DC. Yeah. So this is like reducer, it is taking initial state and use reducers. I'll just import it from React. Yeah, use reducer, and then state, I'll just and dispatch function. I'll just say data just for naming and dispatch as a function. So let me check if I can use it directly, that I'm getting that state out here. So reduce state.count. So yeah, it is coming at 0 here if you can see. Or like I'll just give it border visible. So yeah, it is coming. And now we want to change this value through our reducer. So I'll just how reducer is getting used. So I'll just put two button over here. So what I'll do here, I'll just dispatch that. So whatever action type I need to give, I have to mention it here, and like these are the action type, and what payload is, like what value it is going to be take next. So it's that thing. So I'll just pass my type as from here when I'm dispatching, type as inc, and payload as, so whatever the current value is, I just need to put +1 over there. That's it. So button, yeah, wait, button syntax is not complete. Just see. Button. So this is for plus, like increasing of that thing. So this is plus button, and I'll just put plus button this side and negative this on left side. Yeah, I just need to do minus, and my radius of thing will be decrease. So yeah, let's see if it is working. So it will just dispatch with DEC, and like it will update that payload as usual, like radius of functionality. So let's check. Yeah. So yeah, on plus it is getting plus, and on minus it is getting that. So it is one thing. So use reducer. So now if I come to like custom hook, so sorry. So yeah, use reducer, and these functions are rarely used things. So use debug, use imperative, like it is very specific cases if you come across, but otherwise like these hooks are sufficient. And custom hooks. So custom hooks is like more of a convention than a feature. So what they say about custom hook, it name should start with use, and it should call other hooks. That's it. So if something, so I'll show you just in a small demo here, like how we can think of a custom hook. Like yeah, question was like, okay, we want to set every page title accordingly to the like on every new page we need title in the title to be changed. So we can think of it as a one hook, and I'll just take it out, and by convention its name should start with use, and whatever functionality it is doing, that's there. So I'll just see what I took. Yeah, so we are just taking use. I'll just use a use document title over here. Use document title. So and it takes 2 arguments just to make title. So this is, and use document title. So if I use it, so yeah, hooks can like return anything, or it may not return custom hooks. So right now it is not returning, it is just setting it up title. So I'll just use this, use document title, and make sure like it is after that state thing, because whenever like functional components start running, it like go sequentially and to check those things. So it will be better if it is after and it will after this. Yeah, this is very basic example of very like what is a custom hook. So let's see if it is working in the same way. So I'll just remove class component from here, or I'll just change it over. Yeah. So I guess it is working in the same way still. So this is custom hook, and this is like these example you can think of to reuse your logic. Like suppose if I want to reuse this logic, I can take it out, but it is also an attached event listener and screen width window.inner. Yeah, so no. Yeah, suppose if I want to take this as screen width out, and where we are checking screen width, we are using screen width at simple place. We need only for this functional component, we need only screen width, and rest every of the thing can be taken out because it is about window and like set screen width, and we need but use state, which I can say in a component or in a like custom hook I can take it. So I'll just create another thing. So use screen width. So again, we are using custom hooks inside this, like so, and one use effect. Suppose if I take it out, but my another component need that screen width only. So I'll just return it from here, and I'm returning something. So at same place, I'll just say const screen width. Use screen width, and it is taking as first component. Yeah, no need of passing it. So I guess it will work. So that way, like I can think of very easily taking out of my logic from my component, from a functional component. Yeah, so it is working in same way. So yeah, these things, like you can take anytime, like logic out, logic directly out there. Like so by definition, if I say it should start with the use, like if I don't give use, so what it will give? It will throw me an error, I guess, if I use it that way. Not sure, linter is not okay. Okay, yeah. So if linter is already on, so it will give me error. Okay, you can't use hooks without this particular thing. And these are like very normal cases, but if I come through specifically few cases, so this is another application. Uh, that is just for demoing few things. And if I come here, like login and sign up, every screen has, and how I can think of custom hooks creating in these terms. So what my observation says, any of the, so right now it working like this. So whenever I click on something, it should just give reload, and it should redirect to next page. That's one functionality. And for create account as well, like suppose if I click on any button, it is reloading, and after a few seconds, or like once my response came, it needs to move to another part. So I'll just show you another code base now. So that's the normal way, like it should reload, and I'm just setting it up load, and after 10 seconds I'm just 3 seconds or 3,000 millisecond, I'm just loading false and pushing it to the new page. So I thought of like if I can reuse this logic with the hook. So what I'll do, I'll just put it use state taking out, and this handle function. And I thought like if I push this path as to that particular function, and it will be reusable everywhere, I guess. And yeah, so I made a custom hook. So, or how to make it. So I just made a custom hook, use handle form action. So what it has same code. That's it. So I just copied use state from here, and I took history, which is like React hook provided from this React router library to use history object. And if I'm passing next route, then if next route is there, then it will go to next route. And I'm returning to function from here. Simply loading is the status for that, if we want to use it in our component, and then handle action. So this particular function, we can call it from there. So if I want to take use of it, so this is same code which I'm using here, no need of right now. Yeah, I just moved it out. So how I'll use it? Const form action is equals to use handle form action. It takes one path, what is next route. So for this, I forgot what was that path exactly. I'll just yeah. So this was the path which I want to go after this login get. Or and I'll take this code out, and I'll change few things over here. How it was handling form action. So previously it was loading. I'll just take it that state, whatever returned from that my custom hook, and the handler will be of return from custom hook. So login. So in sign up, I'm already using that function, like how to do that. And let's see if it is working in fine. So yeah, it is working in same way. So that can be a one example, like how we can think of custom hook and how we can take logic out. So basically, it should have hooks inside it, and whatever we want to use it in component from where we are using custom hook, we'll just return those handler or state kind of thing. So better to be like keep it short or keep it like um, single kind of logic. If it is happening, don't like overburden anything. So that's the only uh, thing which is like standard practice. And yeah, so one more use case to which I want to show you. It is not more of custom hook, but yeah, if you have seen that code uh, context thing. So right now we want to use it, suppose reducer from the context. So that one more use case I would love to show. So normally if I say context, how it is getting created, it is very basic. So I'll just, so this is something we just create it and we return it from there. But it takes object and all, but we want to use this context through reducer, the way like Redux and all those library takes that. So we want to use this global state, but manage through our reducer. So in that case, what I'm doing, I'm just making a function simply like reducer context, and then I'll pass the reducer, whatever the reducer. So reducer, I showed you how it looks like. So reducer is basically a function. This every time dispatch function call, it will take for the particular action and what needs to be updated. It will just update in that global state. So it is reducer, and then its handler. What are the functions are there? And its handler basically, and then initial state I'll just pass to this function. So it uses like user reducer just to create a state and dispatch, and whatever action is coming, it is passing as first dispatch function, so and so that it can dispatch from there. And the basic, yeah, this is like just a syntax to pass over the dispatch over here, like how we can use dispatch with context. So these are just two syntax simply. So this is like a ring syntax. So whenever we call this change last name, we need dispatch is already attached there, and we'll just pass this from wherever we are calling. We'll pass this argument, and it will change it that way. Change it like update last name. It will update the last name and payload last name. So yeah, how it is working like reducer with context. I'll show you the simply very basic use case over here. So I'm just importing context, dot context, and very basic like what I'm doing from here. So I'm just setting a first name and last name in the context or context. Yeah, first name and last name. So, but it updates through like update first name. No need to worry about that because internally I'm taking care in this particular function. What I need to do when I do change last name, I just need to pass last name and these kind of things. So I'll go to this and I'll just say use effect, and simply I can call that context function. Use context. So there we have declared two states, first name and last name, and we have changed name, I guess. What function you have changed last name and change name? I'll just copy these two. So yeah, and I'll just set up it up like very static thing. So I'll just call it and just set it up for last name is, and I'll just say change first name or change name. Then not using it, but it will. So let's see like if that state update with this is working context. So how you can think of using more hooks with like context and no need of like external library if we start using use reducer and context combinedly. So yeah, this is this is like a presentation from my side. Yeah. So any question around this, like we can take it up, or like if you didn't got this particular reducer plus context thing, how we can make Redux kind of thing in our app locally.
So let's start taking the questions now. And before we move to the questionnaires, we have a raise hand request from Manohar Kumar again. So I'm going over to hand the mic to him.
Sure.
Hi Abhishek. So actually my question is related to that context. So is the good way to use context and Redux at a time?
So no need. So I'm not sure. So still, React is telling okay, context don't use it for like maximum global management and all if your app is really big. But yeah, like for small apps, like if you are already using Redux, so I'll not be go for that context kind of thing. Unnecessarily confuse myself. So if I'm already using a state management library, why I want context? And if you want to go with the context only, and if you still want this reducer kind of functionality, you can club it like the way I showed you.
Okay, so got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manohar. So let's start with the questions now.
Sure.
So the first question with the most upvotes we have is HOC versus render props versus custom hooks. When to use which one?
So yeah. So component was giving like power. We use our logic through HOC. So what was HOC? If I say in lemon language, so just putting wrapping down a component through higher order component and giving them few props and all, just attaching to them. So if I want those both are still reusable. So I never use render props, frankly. So, but yeah, HOC and hooks let you do things like just to state use. No need of wrapping down of component. That wrapper hell will go away. And like suppose in after few time I want to change my logic, and if I want to enhance something, it will be like little difficult to taking that HOC down, and it will be lot of refactoring. And if I use hooks, and that pain will go away. Not to refactor like anytime okay something. So, yeah. Does it answer my question? Why when to use HOC and like when to hooks?
So to add to this, I have a great article for the same question that I'll share with the audience, and then we can move ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I've shared that article, which helped me out and would help the other attendees as well, because it compares three of them on reusability factor, the readability factor, testing factor, which one is more testable. So
yeah.
So I believe that is answered from our side, and we can move ahead to the next question. Okay, so next is what will be the suitable use case for use memo and use callback?
So yeah, those come near. I didn't read that much about these books, but yeah, those for performances. So I'm not sure like how exactly do that. So but memo is more about like when computation values you need to store it, and we need not to like recompute every time. And use callback, I'm not sure. Yeah.
So actually, if I may, Abhishek.
That's what.
Yeah. So basically, use callback is more or less same like use memo only. So we use memo to store the same value, whereas we use the use callback, which is for memoizing the function callback. So for when we are calling the same function and again and again, and the use case for this would be applying an on change on a particular input field or a select field, and that's when we can use a use callback where we get the same response when the function is called again and again. Like we don't have to compute it again and again. It's more like use memo only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move to the next question. So can't we use arrow function for the handlers?
Yeah, we can use. But arrow function are like not recommended, I guess. Like they in between it come up with the syntax of arrow, but that's not recommended to use right now. They have few problems of this context and all things. So that will getting resolved like with hooks and all when we use functional component. So it's up to choice. Your choice.
Okay. So next is like component did mount is called once when the page is rendered. How does use effect work?
So yeah, so use effect I showed you three things. So return and then that scope thing which I was giving as array. So whenever so component did mount will so whatever scope we are giving the first wait can I show my screen and it will be better to
Yeah,
explain.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. It will be better to explain. So so what was can you repeat question again?
Yeah, sure. So like component did mount is called only once when the page is rendered. How does use effect work? Sorry guys, we have lost Abhishek. Let me check with him.
So
Yeah, so Abhishek, your connection was lost again. So could you please just share your screen again?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the question? Like which
Yeah, so
question?
it was like component mount is called once when the page is rendered. How does use effect work?
Yeah. So it works like use effect gets called on every time whenever something is getting updated. So if we want to restrict it or like if you want to keep a track, okay, when to call after that. So first time it will surely be called, and suppose something I'll just demonstrate here. So, yeah, so this is use effect. Suppose I take this, and whenever like I'm calling, so this will get attached on component did mount as it was there. And but suppose if we still want like when the component did update, so if something we need to restrict it, okay, whenever some props are changing or whenever states particular are changing, so that we can pass it over here, and then it will start working on same as component did update. That's it. So suppose if I want to use any mm, suppose I'm taking x, y, z value, which is in this component already, and if I want to restrict it, I'll just check, okay, if I'll just put a condition around of it. So then it will not call. But every time whenever something is updating, it will get called. First time and then every render. That's how it is working.
Okay, so that's answered. So next is, what about dependency array for use effect? Could you please add it? So I think we have covered this with the previous answer.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
dependency array is something if we are seeing those value and when we want to do component update, we just do
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So next question we have is, why does the functional child component wrapped in parent class component mounted later than the parent component? That is, component did mount fired earlier than use effect. While we all know that child mounts first and then the parent with any other combination.
Where are reading this question? Can I read? It was so long.
Okay, so it's on the top
What?
only.
Okay. So why does the functional child component wrapped in parent class component? Component mount fired earlier than user. While we all know that child mounts first, the parent. I didn't get that exactly. Or like I'm not sure about this question. Like how it is like what is the case when this parent and pregnancy.
Okay, so just a second. Okay, so the question basically is that we have a child component wrapped in the parent component. So Vineet's question is that we all know that the child components mount first and then later on the parent components. So why does this functional child component, which is wrapped inside a parent class component, is mounted later?
Okay. I'm not sure. I need to check. Okay, if it is like what is the exact case use case like how it is going to be.
Vineet, you can raise your hand if you want to discuss it. I mean, if you want to clarify the question, because we already have an upvote for it.
Yeah.
I think Vinita is not here. Okay, so since the question isn't clear, let's skip this one and we can move to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is, if you want to run our effect on initial mount only, we can use if and else condition. But is there any other way to achieve this?
If we want to know more effect of initial mount, we want to run our effect on initial mount only. We can use if and else condition. But is there any way to achieve? No, that's the way like because component dead mount was there. That's the like component dead mount. Yeah. So if and else, so I didn't get this. What's the question here? No, I guess there's no other way.
I think Rahul got confused with where you were using the XYZ component. You
Okay,
were checking that. Maybe he got confused over there because we don't use effect in an if-else condition like that.
okay.
Because if you
Yeah.
want the effect, yeah, please go ahead, Abhishek.
Okay. So yeah, there's something like if and only we can use, but there is any condition that to achieve this want to then effect of condition on that. So that's the only condition. Like if we put if in that after that.
Basically, Rahul wants to know what is the way to run the use effect only when the page is mounted and never again.
Okay, so after that, if those tops are getting changed, then we'll just pass those into that array kind of thing, and it will not get updated. we can track of that. Okay, if that are getting changed, or if you want to still don't want to update that component, then we can do those kind of things.
We can leave the blank array blank for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Array blank gives sometimes like linter. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
but
the
it works.
Yeah, array it works.
So the next question we have is, why are you using two-time use effect in the code? Can we do that things in one use effect?
So, but it is not like better that to use it like two use effect, because that is like consider one logic of that. It will be better. And in one effect, I guess we can do it.
I would like to add up to this one. So, for example, so if there's a condition, if there's a situation wherein you have two variables, and when one of them is changed, you want you want to do one kind of computation, and when the second variable is changed, you want to do something else, and you want them to be decoupled. So in that case, you can use multiple use effects, and it is just fine to use multiple use effects in the same component.
No, he is asking like, can we use one effect? Yeah, we can use one effect, but that's not what I told, because use effect is for mainly like logic kind of thing. If it is same kind of logic and if it is dependent, then it will go under one effect.
Yes,
Otherwise,
yeah, like if one computation should happen when two variables are updated, like either one of them is updated, then we can do that in a single use effect as well. So the next question is, okay. So Anshu's question, I believe, is answered, because his question was why the blank array is being used.
Okay. Can you explain why blank is? So that is for like first time update you, as you told. Last question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So next question.
Oh, sure. So what is the alternative for component will receive props in hooks? I know it is discouraged to use. Still, is there any alternative if changing properties needs to be handled?
Yeah, I guess you can use that get derived props still in the hooks, that static method. So that is the only alternative. Still want to use it.
The next one that we have is, can you explain quickly what is the ahead in time compilation, which is off topic, but if you would like to answer this.
So yeah, so they just packed their module. So I'm not like much aware about this, but yeah, simply like what I know about ahead of the compilation. So they just prepare that module like before routing those, and those code splitting and all those things will come in this picture. Like already like just compile the whole module and it will be provided, and so that it will be ready to after that like whenever you.
So there is another question. Akarshan, please post your question. And let's wait for him to post his question. Yeah. So his question is it out of box, but is JavaScript compiled or interpreted?
JavaScript compiled or interpreted? Compiled language? I'm not sure. Like these kind of, I don't remember. Okay, how it is working.
Okay, let's wait for more questions if we have any. Okay, so we have a raise hand request from Vineet. Okay, let's Vineet is back.
Hi Abhishek, hi Ankita. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So when this concept was introduced, I was just experimenting with different combinations of types of components. For example, child being a functional, parent being a class, vice versa, both being functional and both being class-based components. And React guarantees that the child component is mounted first, and then the parent component mounts. Okay, so yeah, what I did was for the child component in the use effect, I just console logged, and in the parent component as well, in the component did mount, I just wrote a console log statement. But in this particular case, wherein the child component was a functional component and the parent component was a class-based component, I found out that the parent was mounted first, and the child was mounted later. So at the time when React guarantees that the child is mounted first, this was a special scenario. I don't know about the current release, but this happened like when the functional component concept was initially introduced. So have you faced any kind of any such kind of behaviors before?
No, I never observed if I faced it. Like, I never observed it.
So, Vineet, you have any thing else to discuss?
No, nothing else. Wanted to see if any other has also faced this, or it is just me.
No worries. You can connect with Abhishek directly. I mean, I'll be sharing his profile link, and we'll also get in the community as well. Like we can share
Yeah,
that. We can discuss this more there.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one more question. So it's from Akarshan. Up to my knowledge, it's interpreted, but recently I can read an article in which they were saying some recent changes are made into V8 engine, due to which some features of just-in-time compilation were introduced. Still not sure if it's interpreted or compiled. So it's not a question; it's more of his knowledge which he's sharing. So Akarshan, if you want to discuss more on this one, let's do that in the social lounge after we end this session. So for everyone, if you have any more questions or if you would like to discuss any other question or anything else related to JavaScript or particularly in this session, so we can do that back in the social lounge. Once I end the session, we will all be redirected to the social lounge where you can grab a chair for in on any table wherein there are people who want to discuss the same thing. Okay. Let's just wait for a minute, and if there are no more questions, we can move to the lounge.
Yeah.
Okay, so meanwhile, I'm sharing the links for our social handles for our React.js community and the YouTube channel. So this particular talk will be posted on YouTube as well. So if you guys would like to share it with your fellow with your fellow colleagues or anyone else, then you can share the link for our YouTube channel, and you could also join our WhatsApp community wherein we can easily connect with each other and discuss more on particularly this topic or any other sessions that you would like us to host in future. So I am sharing the feedback link again. So please guys, give us your feedback, be it a negative or a positive feedback. Everything is welcome. Yeah, so thank you so much, Abhishek. That was a really great session. And I personally love the live coding part because that is something most of all the developers are excited more about. So it was really nice. And I believe the audience liked it as well. Well, we can know that once we have the feedback from everyone. So thank you so much, guys, for attending this session. And now, if you have any more questions, let's go to the social lounge, grab a table, and let's discuss more. Thank you, everyone.